What are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2004 movie, The Exorcist: The Beginning. So this movie follows Father Merrin, and he joins a British archaeological excavation in Kenya, where he discovers this church that is like really old and stuff, and they find all kinds of different discoveries down there. And he's doing this while he's taking a break from being a priest, because he has kind of started losing his faith and everything, and questioning his faith and stuff after struggling with events that he witnessed during World War II. And all kinds of stuff happens in this movie that eventually restores his faith. And of course, you know, he has to do an exorcism and stuff for his first exorcism, because in the original movie he had already done an exorcism before, and this movie kind of shows his first one. I saw this one for the first time all the way through tonight. I had seen bits and pieces of it before, but I had never actually watched the full movie until tonight, and this movie is alright. I wouldn't say that I hated it, because it really could have been a lot worse than it was, but I definitely wouldn't say that I loved it either. I think it just was kind of mediocre, and it wasn't as bad as I was expecting it to be, but the cast in here are all pretty good, especially Stellan Skarsgård. He really is great as Father Merrin. He's not near as good as Max von Sydow, but he really does a good job playing the younger version of him. And the rest of the cast in here are really good too, though. They all fit their roles well. Most of them I didn't recognize. James Darcy's in here. He's probably the only other person I've seen in anything else besides this movie. But they were all good in here. And the story, I think, is alright. It does have really bad pacing, as you would expect from this franchise, because all of the movies in this franchise have pacing issues. Even the ones that I do love, like the first one and like the third one a lot, but they both have their pacing issues too. So that's not really anything new for this franchise. I expected it to be slow paced, but it wasn't near as bad as I was expecting it to be. Though, like the pacing was better than I anticipated, but it was still pretty bad. The visual effects in this movie are pretty horrible, though. They use a lot of CGI in this movie, especially in this one particular scene where these hyenas are attacking this kid, and they look absolutely horrendous. It's just really bad CGI and stuff, which really sucks, because I mean, the original Exorcist has some of the greatest special effects of all time and everything, and it's like really sad to see how much of a downfall the visual effects have gone in this franchise and stuff, because I mean, the visual effects in 2 were pretty bad and everything. 3 actually had pretty good special effects, but this one, the visuals were absolutely horrible. And I know this movie had a lot of production problems, and in fact, it was originally supposed to be a whole nother movie, which a year later got released and stuff because of how bad this one did. I guess they just decided to release that version hoping it would get better critical reception and stuff, but I don't think it did very good with critics either. I haven't watched it yet. I'll be reviewing that one later tonight or tomorrow. Yeah, and I will say, though, that the makeup effects they used in this movie towards the end, when the girl is possessed by the demon and stuff, it kind of reminiscent of Reagan and stuff. I think the visuals on that were okay. They weren't like super great and everything, and they don't look near as good as they did in the original, like the third one. Like, the makeup effects aren't as good as either one of those, but I still think they looked okay. And it was better than doing the cheap CGI crap, so I'll commend them for that. I've seen demon possessions movies where they're CGI and stuff, and it looks really, really bad. So I'm glad that even though this movie does have a crap load of bad CGI, they did keep with the makeup effects on the girl when she's possessed. So she did still look creepy and everything. I think they did a good job on that. And Trevor Rabin does the score for this movie, and I think he did a really good job on the score. That was one of the highlights of the movie for me, is the score was really good in here, and the cinematography was pretty good in this one too. And it kind of felt like it was like the Mummy with demon possession, kind of. Except it wasn't near as lighthearted and fun though. But I think this movie's better than a lot of people say it is. I wouldn't say it's a great movie though. It's definitely not one that I would recommend saying you have to see it or anything. If you're a completionist, it's worth watching it for that, but I'm hoping that Dominion would be the better movie of the two. Because to me it kind of sounds like this is like how they did with Warner Brothers interfered with Justice League. I think they did the same thing with that they did with this, and that's why we're getting the other version. I'm looking forward to seeing how different they are and stuff. But yeah, so I'd say I'd give The Exorcist the beginning a 4 out of 10. It's not a super great movie, but it's okay. I could handle watching it if I'm watching the franchise and everything. It's not one that I'd absolutely have to skip. It's not one that if I'm watching the movies in this franchise, though, more than likely I wouldn't go to this one. If I'm only going to watch some of them, I'd watch the first two, or the first and third, and skip this one and the second one. But it's an alright movie, so but anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of The Exorcist the beginning, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.